I'll be honest with you, I used to spend way too much money on worms. Every spring, I'd order another batch of red wigglers, convinced that buying more composting worms was the secret to a thriving garden. But then something shifted. I discovered a ridiculously simple cardboard trick that changed everything about how I approach soil health, and I haven't purchased a single worm since. Let me share what I learned, because if you're serious about growing with soil, this might be the game changer you've been looking for. It happened on a rainy afternoon when I was cleaning out my garage. I had stacks of cardboard boxes that I'd been meaning to recycle, and as I carried them past my garden beds, I noticed something incredible. Under an old flattened box I'd carelessly tossed near my tomatoes weeks earlier, the soil was absolutely teeming with worms. Not the red wigglers I'd been buying, but fat, healthy earthworms, the native kind that do incredible work in your garden soil. The cardboard had created a perfect worm hotel without me even trying. That's when it clicked. I didn't need to keep buying worms, I just needed to create the conditions that would attract and multiply the worms already living in my soil. Here's what makes cardboard so magical for worms. When you lay cardboard directly on your soil, you're essentially rolling out the red carpet for every worm in the vicinity. Cardboard creates a dark, moist microclimate that worms absolutely love. It regulates soil temperature, keeping things cooler in summer and warmer in winter. It holds moisture like a sponge, which is essential because worms breathe through their skin and need that humidity to survive. But the real genius is what happens as the cardboard breaks down. Worms don't just hang out under cardboard, they actively eat it. Cardboard is essentially processed wood fiber, and worms can digest it along with the beneficial bacteria and fungi that colonize it. As they consume and process this material, they're creating nutrient-rich worm castings that transform your soil into something truly special. The decomposing cardboard also acts as a carbon-rich food source that balances out the nitrogen in your soil. This creates an ideal environment not just for worms, but for the entire soil food web. Beneficial microorganisms multiply, breaking down organic matter and making nutrients available to your plants. Let me walk you through exactly how I do this, because the technique matters. First, I collect cardboard. Plain, uncoated boxes work best. I avoid anything with glossy finishes, excessive tape, or colored inks, though plain brown boxes with minimal printing are absolutely fine. I remove any tape, staples, or plastic shipping labels. Next, I choose my location. This works beautifully between garden rows, around established plants, or over empty beds you're preparing for future planting. I've even used it in my orchard under fruit trees with amazing results. I lay the cardboard flat, overlapping pieces by at least 6 inches so weeds can't sneak through. Here's the key part that many people miss. I thoroughly soak the cardboard with water before covering it. We're talking soaked, like you just pulled it out of a bathtub. This initial moisture is crucial for attracting worms immediately. Then I cover the wet cardboard with a 3 to 4 inch layer of organic matter. I use whatever I have on hand: wood chips, straw, leaf mulch, or compost. This covering serves multiple purposes. It holds the cardboard in place, keeps it moist, adds another food source as it decomposes, and makes your garden look intentional rather than like you just dumped trash everywhere. Within days, seriously, just days, worms start showing up. I've lifted cardboard after only a week and found dozens of worms working underneath. They come from the surrounding soil, attracted by the moisture and food source. But here's where it gets really exciting. These worms start reproducing. Unlike red wigglers that you buy for composting bins, native earthworms are adapted to your specific soil conditions. They're already there, they're already thriving, and when you give them ideal conditions, their populations explode naturally. Each earthworm can produce several cocoons per year, and each cocoon can contain multiple baby worms. After about a month, when I peel back a section of cardboard, the transformation is remarkable. The cardboard is partially decomposed, Swiss cheesed with holes from worm activity. The soil underneath is loose, crumbly, and dark, completely different from the compacted earth that was there before. The worm castings have enriched it, and the physical action of worms moving through has improved soil structure dramatically. So, this isn't just a one-time trick. It's actually a regenerative system that keeps giving back year after year. As the cardboard fully decomposes over several months, you're left with, well, permanently improved soil. And the worms? They don't leave, they've established territory, and will continue working that area as long as you maintain decent conditions. I now use this method strategically throughout my growing season. In early spring, I lay cardboard over areas I want to plant later, basically sheet mulching while also building up worm populations. By the time I'm ready to plant, the soil is so loose and alive that I can honestly just push transplants in with barely any effort. In fall, I cover empty beds with cardboard and mulch. The worms work all winter during our mild periods, and by spring, I have the most incredible planting medium you can imagine. I've completely eliminated the need for tilling in most of my garden because, well, the worms do that work for me. The cost savings are significant too. A pound of red wigglers costs anywhere from $15 to $30, and you need to keep their population maintained. My cardboard, well, it's free from grocery stores, neighbors, and honestly, my own online shopping habit. The return on investment is infinite. When you buy composting worms, you're typically getting red wigglers, Eisenia fetida, which are fantastic for compost bins but not ideal for garden beds. They prefer to stay in the top few inches of soil where organic matter is concentrated, and they're not as effective at improving deeper soil structure. Native earthworms, on the other hand, include species that burrow much deeper, creating channels that improve drainage and allow plant roots to penetrate further. They're adapted to your climate and soil type, which means they're more resilient and better suited to the work you need them to do. So, by using the cardboard method, you're not introducing a foreign species, you're really just amplifying what's already there. You're working with nature, rather than, trying to import a solution from outside. Since I stopped buying worms and started focusing on creating worm habitat, my garden has transformed. Plants grow more vigorously with deeper root systems. I water less because the soil structure holds moisture better. I fertilize less because the nutrient cycling has improved dramatically, and I spend less time fighting compaction and poor drainage. The best part? This method scales beautifully. Whether you have a small raised bed or acres of garden space, cardboard and mulch can work for you. It's accessible, affordable, and, honestly, incredibly effective. So before you place another order for composting worms, I'd encourage you to try this simple cardboard trick. Give your native worm population the habitat they need to thrive, and just watch what happens. I think you'll be amazed at just how powerful working with your soil's natural systems can be. If you found this helpful, subscribe to Grow with Soil for more practical, earth-friendly gardening techniques that actually work. And please, share this with a fellow gardener who might benefit from discovering what's already living in their soil, just waiting for the right conditions to flourish. Let's grow better gardens together.